Hi there, Taurus. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate that. This is Yetta Pearl, and this is my still fairly new YouTube channel. So welcome to your reading for July 12th through 18th, 2021. So here we go. So this is your guardian angels giving me messages for you, things that maybe they've been trying to get your attention for a little while, and they've been wanting to give you these messages, and either you're not hearing them, you're not getting the message, you don't understand, or maybe you do get it, but you just want a bit of confirmation, things like that. It's all good. And that's the things that they're going to share with us today, things that they find is most important. And of course, it is a collective energy because there's more than one of you. Of course, this is not an individual reading. And so some of this may resonate with you and some of it may not. And either way, it's all good because it's just for somebody else who's listening. It's perfect. Okay, so this deck, I can never remember the name of this deck. And I could look it up, but I just haven't done that. Just don't think of it when I'm not here. But so if anybody who's watching has this deck, please let me know what the name of it is. I'd appreciate that. And so you guys Taurus gets this deck a lot. And I'm not sure if that has significance, but either way, let's just go with it. And it's just something I noticed. I don't even know why I mentioned it, but that's fine. Okay, so let's see. So I think as often happens in your reading, we're talking about savings. So I don't really remember the specific message in times past, but this one today, they're talking about sometimes it is just best and wisest to use some of your savings for the bigger things, right? So Taurus, you tend to like having a large savings account, and you will do a lot in order to create that and to build it and keep it big. But there are times when what you're contemplating spending it on is worth it. So there's something going on right now that's how that is. It's worth it. You won't regret spending it on this thing. It's you need to do your research. You need to make sure that it's something that is truly going to be worth the time, the money, everything else that you've saved up. That to make sure that it's something that is you're going to value for a long time to come, right? Yeah, but it does feel very much like it is a good decision to spend some of your savings on this. Having said that, now they're also saying keep saving. Don't stop saving just because you're spending some of it, right? Obviously. So if at all possible, set up an automatic thing that every time you get paid, a certain amount of it goes directly into a savings account or an RSP or, whatever it is. I'm not sure what they call them in the States. So 401k maybe. Anyway, make it automatic so that it's as easy as possible so that you don't really have to choose it every single time, so that it just happens, and that way, even if you're not looking, it happens. Yeah, so that's perfect. Okay, so I'm seeing that there's quite a bit of family influencing this week coming up, and in general, that's a good thing. So spending time with family, this is your kids, your parents, your siblings, your grandparents, whoever. This is also friends who you consider to be family. Spend time with them. Talk with them on the phone if they're not close, or do video calls or something like that. And they are going to, somehow they're going to influence things that happen for you this week. And that influence is a necessary part. It is one of the steps on your life journey. So allow that to happen. It might not feel all that positive at the beginning, but it is, and you will recognize that it is, that it's something that you need to do. And whether you want to do it or not, you will recognize that it is something you have to do. And so it's good. It's a good thing. Yes. Okay. So Okay, partnership. Let's go partnership next, just because this is also the relationship, same as the family, right? Partnership. So, all right, so there's different scenarios that they're showing me right away. So for some people, this is a business partnership. Be careful, is what they're saying. Make sure, because a business partnership, that the other person then has their own ideas about how things should go. And sometimes even when you have a really great conversation about it and you think you're exactly on the same page, and you think that you think the same as each other or very similar, then there might something come up that highlights the fact that you didn't truly understand each other, right? So just be cautious with business partnerships. Get things in writing, is what they're saying, and always have an exit plan. With other partnerships, so if this is your life partner, your romantic partner, okay, what does this feel like? It feels like maybe there's it's not quite a disagreement. Well, maybe it is a disagreement, but it's not a fight, right? You're mature enough, both of you, that you can have a conversation and you can get along just fine. If you're finding that you can't have just a conversation about this, then both of you, this is your growing chance. This is something that for you to learn how to do. It's a skill. The talking to somebody who you are disagreeing with without fighting is a skill. Without avoiding, it's a skill. So they're reminding me of a time when I was in a group of other women, and we were just, none of us were truly friends. We were just a group, all kind of doing the same thing. We were on a little bit of a tour in the city, and there were two people who, well, one person said something that the rest of the group, it felt like the rest of the group obviously did not agree with. And one of those other people said, oh, well, I don't necessarily agree with that, but it doesn't matter. And somebody else immediately jumped in and changed the subject just to avoid a discussion about it. And it just felt ridiculous. It felt avoidance instead of adults having a conversation, right? There's no reason that two people cannot disagree with each other and still stay friendly and still stay in the same area and still be good with each other. There's no reason that has to be avoided, right? So take that to heart. So with this partnership, there's also an aspect of, so far they've talked about the times, the potential, I guess, for conflict. And how it's you and your perspective who, makes it smooth or easy or, adjustable, whatever. They're also pointing out that this other person has a lot of skills which you don't have. And this is both in business and in personal. So when, you don't need to be opposites or anything like that. However, there are things that the other person knows that you don't know yet. And so now you have the opportunity either to learn it from them or to simply say, well, great, that can be your job then, and I'll do this other thing which they don't prefer, right? So it's all a give and take, and in that way everything can really flourish, is what they're showing me. So that's really great. That's really great. So staying positive is definitely a part of that. Now, if you happen to be feeling down or bad about something or whatever, you're not feeling great, don't be fake positive. Just putting a pretty little positive on top of it is not going to help anything. It's just going to stuff down the garbage that you've already got there. If you're not feeling great about something, take it out, have a look at it, see what it is, see where it's coming from. And, do you have to keep that, or, how do you change it? Just go ahead, change what you can. And that way it'll be a lot more easy to be positive and to have faith and have optimism, as this card says. You definitely can change things up by saying yes to a positive experience. Somebody invites you out to do something, to go to the zoo or whatever. Say yes. Go. Why not? You're feeling down? You know what? This is going to help you not feel down, right? So keep that open. And in fact, they're saying have friends who you communicate well enough with that you can text them something, like just even, a couple of little words, and that they will understand, okay, this is my code. I have to come up with something and I have to go pick them up and let's go do something fun, right? So, there'll be times when schedule doesn't quite allow that. But, if you have more than one of these friends, that would be optimum, right? So then there will be somebody who will drop what they're doing and come to your aid for this. You don't want to abuse that or anything like that, but you want people who are close to you to know how to help you when you need help. Right. Okay. So there is a change happening. There's a change happening in your world. Is this in your external or internal? This feels more internal. It's the way you're thinking about something is changing, is shifting. And partly you don't quite know how to handle that because maybe you've been kind of vocal about the way you thought about it in the past, right? And so now you kind of have to backtrack a little bit. That's okay. It's okay, Taurus. No worries. People will forgive you, especially if you say, I used to think this, but my thinking has just changed and my perspective has come around to this other way and I'm seeing the value in that more now, right? Go ahead, do that. There's a lot of respect for somebody who can acknowledge that they have grown and that they've changed their thoughts because of that growth. That's an amazing thing. It's a really great skill to have. So definitely do that. Your main value is being yourself. Don't change for anybody. Only change for yourself, for things that you see, that you recognize that you need to change. Be yourself. If you want to crack a joke and other people want it to be all serious and somber and stuff, well, you know what? I guess if you're at a funeral, maybe you wouldn't do that. But otherwise, be yourself. Just be your tolerant self. Be the person who says when somebody else is spouting off about somebody, you be the one to say, oh, I don't know, I never had any trouble with that person. Like, yeah, they're like that, but so what? It doesn't bother me, And in that way, you're being the leader. And it seems to come quite naturally to you, Taurus, to be the leader, to know what it is you feel and you think, and to know how you prefer to handle things. And, when other people are handling things poorly, there's no judgment involved. It's just, well, here's how I do it. That's all it needs to be, right? And be your total own self. Take off the masks that maybe some of you are wearing. Anybody who prefers you with your masks on doesn't know the real you. And so they don't prefer the real you, right? But they would if they knew it, or they might if they knew how you really are underneath everything. So have as few masks as possible, as few cloaks, as few veils, be your own true self. Everybody loves you. You are so lovable. It's amazing. And being yourself brings the most value to your whole life and to the lives of the people around you. So that's awesome. Okay, so let's get one last bit of wisdom from the daily guidance cards. So please, angels, what do you need for our Taurus to know? One last bit for July 12th through 18th. Okay, it's this one. All right. So a creative project. They're saying you would benefit from doing something creative. Now they're showing music, but so it can definitely be music. It can be any number of things, though. It can be any kind of craft or building something or just figuring out how to do something better than what you've been doing it. painting, sculpting, whatever it is. Pick something. It doesn't matter. It feels really good to have a creative project. It gets your mind off of the intellectual side, because we need a balance of both, right? And so, all day at work, maybe you're using your intellect and that's what's expected of you. So now, okay, and they're showing me some of you at work, you get the opportunity to be creative in the way that you're accomplishing your duties, or perhaps it just is like, perhaps that is your job, that you paint murals or something. Like, that's amazing. And so just enjoy your creative project and make a balance between that and your intellect. Okay, fabulous, Taurus. Okay, so can you help me for a minute here? And let's just send a whole bunch of love to the world all around us, and let's create some really positive change for the world. And we can do that in part by being yourself, right? Everybody needs authentic people. Amazing. Love that. Thank you so much, Taurus. I love you. I appreciate you. And I'll see you next week.